Have you ever noticed how someone changes when you stop being so available? At first, they may seem fine, calm, unbothered, maybe even indifferent, but then something shifts. Your absence creates space, and in that space, people often meet a truth they were too distracted to feel before. They notice the silence. They notice the missing rhythm. They notice how much of their comfort was tied to your presence. That is what this conversation is about. Not manipulation, not mind games, not making someone suffer just to feel powerful. This is about strategic withdrawal, a calm, intentional step back that lets reality speak louder than routine. Sometimes people do not value what is always available, not because you lack worth, because constant access can hide value. When you stop overextending yourself, people reveal something. They reveal whether they miss you or whether they only miss easy access to you. That difference matters, and it matters even more if you care about dignity. Because Stoicism is not about controlling another person's emotions. It is about controlling your own response, your own standards, and your own availability. As Seneca warned, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So as we go through this, stay grounded. Do not use these signs to chase validation. Do not turn every message into proof. Do not turn every silence into a prophecy. Treat this like a map, not a verdict, a way to understand behavior more clearly, without handing your self-worth to someone else's attention. Strategic withdrawal is not coldness, it is clarity. You are not punishing anyone. You are stepping out of patterns where your presence was taken for granted. You are letting silence reveal what noise used to hide. And if someone misses you, that may be meaningful, but it still does not obligate you to return on their timeline. You can be compassionate and still choose distance. You can understand their feelings and still protect your peace. That is not cruelty, that is maturity. Before we go further, hold one thought. Your value does not rise because someone suddenly notices it. Your value was there before they noticed. Withdrawal does not create your worth. It reveals whether they were awake enough to see it. If that mindset already speaks to you, leave a comment on Stoic Ocean. Just one word. Value. And if you want more content on calm strength, boundaries, and emotional discipline, subscribe and stay with me. We are going to walk through 11 signs, because when someone misses you, it often leaks out sideways, through behavior more than words. Stay observant, stay calm, let patterns teach you, but do not let them hijack your self-respect. Sign 1. They reach out more frequently. The first sign is simple, but easy to misread. They start reaching out more often, more texts, more check-ins, more random messages that did not used to happen. On the surface, that seems obvious. If someone misses you, of course they contact you more. But the real insight is not the number. It is the shift. It is the change from casual contact to repeated contact. From occasional interest to unprompted effort. When someone starts missing you, your absence disrupts their normal rhythm. Something feels off, not necessarily dramatic, just different. A gap appears where your energy, your conversation, or your presence used to be. And many people respond to that gap by trying to close it. That is why they reach out more. Sometimes it looks direct. How have you been? What are you up to? Sometimes it looks indirect. A random meme, a strange story, a video they think you would laugh at, a message about something small that did not really require your input. It may seem silly, but often those small messages are not about the topic. They are about the bridge. They are looking for a way back into connection. That does not always mean deep love. And this is where you need maturity. More contact can mean they miss you. It can also mean they miss access, miss familiarity, miss reassurance, or miss the role you played in their day. So do not rush to romanticize it. Observe it. Look for consistency. Look for tone. Look for whether they are truly curious about you or simply uncomfortable with the distance. That distinction matters. because someone who misses you in a real way usually becomes more attentive too. They ask better questions. They listen more carefully. They seem more interested in what your life actually feels like now. Not just in restarting contact, but in understanding who you are without assuming they still have full access. That is different from someone who just wants the old convenience back. You may notice they become more engaged in conversation. They do not only text more, they text with more intention. They follow up. They remember details. They ask how something went. They lean in. Why? Because attention is often the first place where longing becomes visible. When your absence is felt, people sometimes try to reduce that feeling through conversation. It helps them feel closer, even briefly. And yes, sometimes humor shows up here too. They send you the random cat video. They bring up the inside joke. They text you something ridiculous that makes no sense unless the real goal is simply to keep the connection alive. Do not underestimate that. People often hide longing inside ordinary messages. It feels safer there. Safer than saying, "I miss you." Safer than admitting that your absence has been louder than they expected. Picture someone holding their phone, thinking about texting you, typing, deleting, typing again. Not because they have something urgent to say, because silence has started doing its work on them. They feel the gap, and they want to know if the bridge is still there. Now, here is the Stoic part. Your job is not to reward every signal with instant access. Your job is not to panic, perform, or chase certainty. Your job is to stay grounded. If someone reaches out more, notice it. Appreciate the information, but do not abandon your center. Part of what makes your absence powerful is that it teaches people you are not endlessly available on demand. That does not make you cruel. It makes you self-respecting. So if this happens, stay calm. Respond if you want to. Take your time. Keep living your life. Do not let their renewed attention become your new obsession. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So keep your thoughts with your values, your work, your growth, your peace. Let them come toward you without making them the center of your mind. That groundedness matters. Because when you are focused on your own life, your energy changes. You stop chasing, you stop overreading, you stop begging to be chosen, and that steadiness is often what makes your presence and your absence feel more valuable. So if someone starts reaching out more, take it as information, not a guarantee, not a fantasy. Information. Your absence was noticed. The connection was felt. Now watch what happens next. Do they only reach out more? Or do they also show more care, more consistency, and more respect for your pace? That is how you read the sign well, not by getting excited too quickly, but by staying clear enough to see the difference between interest and impulse. Before we move to the next sign, if this is helping you see relationships with more clarity, give this video a thumbs up on Stoic Ocean and stay with me. The next signs get deeper. Sign 2. They reminisce about the past. The second sign is nostalgia. They start bringing up old memories. Moments you shared. Jokes only the two of you would understand. A trip, a photo, a song. A random Tuesday memory that somehow still glows in their mind. This happens because when someone misses you, the mind often goes backward before it knows how to move forward. Memory feels safer than vulnerability. It is easier to say, "Remember when," than to say, "I feel your absence now." So they reach for the past. They send the old photo. They mention the inside joke. They bring up that strange moment that once made both of you laugh. And yes, sometimes that really is a sign of longing, because nostalgia often highlights what mattered. People revisit what left an imprint. They replay what made them feel alive, seen, or connected. And in that replay, they often realize what your presence actually meant. Maybe they are scrolling their phone late at night and land on a photo of the two of you. Maybe a place, a food, or a song pulls them backward. And suddenly the memory is not just a memory anymore. It becomes contrast. Life now compared to life then. And that contrast can sharpen longing. But again, stay mature here. Because nostalgia is real, and nostalgia can also be misleading. People do not only miss you, sometimes they miss how they felt around you. Sometimes they miss a chapter, not the responsibility required to build a better one. That is why this sign needs careful reading. If they reminisce, notice what follows. Do they only revisit old feelings? Or do they also show new maturity? Do they only send warm memories, or do they also ask what you need now? Do they only replay the old story, or do they show signs they are capable of writing a different one? That distinction matters more than the memory itself, because memory is easy, repair is harder. Anyone can send an old photo, not everyone can take new responsibility. Anyone can say, "Remember when?" Not everyone can say, "I understand what I did, and I want to show up differently now." That is why nostalgia is only one piece of the puzzle. It can be sweet, it can be sincere. It can also become a loop, a way of circling the past without doing the harder work of meeting the present. So if someone reaches out through memories, you do not have to reject it. You can smile. You can acknowledge what was good. You can let the warmth be warm. But you do not owe anyone a time machine. You do not owe anyone a return to a chapter that hurt you. You can honor the memory without re-entering the same pain. That is strength. That is clarity. That is dignity. There is something important to remember here. Sometimes people romanticize the past because the present asks more of them. The past lets them feel. The present requires change, so watch for that. If someone keeps bringing up old moments, ask yourself quietly, are they remembering or are they rebuilding? Are they reaching for comfort or are they reaching for truth? Those are not the same thing. Seneca said luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. In relationships, opportunity often looks like an honest conversation, not a perfect memory. So if nostalgia appears, receive it with awareness. Do not overread it. Do not dismiss it either. Just place it where it belongs, as a sign that your presence left an impression. And then ask the wiser question, does this person only miss what was, or are they capable of meeting what is? That is the question that protects your peace, and that is the question that keeps longing from turning into illusion. If this part hits home for you, leave a comment with the words, cherishing the memories. Then keep listening, because the next sign moves from memory to attention. Sign 3. They become more curious about your life. Now let us talk about the third sign. When someone starts missing you, they often become more curious about your life. They become more curious about your life. And that matters. Because curiosity is often one of the first ways absence becomes visible. When someone misses you, they do not always say it directly. Sometimes they watch more, ask more, notice more. They start paying attention to details they once ignored. Maybe you post something new, a place, a hobby, a shift in your routine, and suddenly they are first to notice, first to like it, first to comment, first to ask, when did you start doing that? At a surface level, that can look casual, but sometimes it is not casual at all. Sometimes it is an attempt to stay connected to a life they no longer have easy access to. That is what curiosity often reveals. Not certainty, not love, not a guaranteed comeback, just attention that has become more active because your absence created a gap. Marcus Aurelius said the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And when someone starts thinking about you more, their attention often follows. They ask questions they never used to ask. They want to know what your days look like now, what you are building, who you are around, where your energy goes. Sometimes that curiosity is sincere. Sometimes it is anxious. Sometimes it is about longing. Sometimes it is about losing access to a version of you they assumed would always be there. So do not romanticize it too fast. Read it carefully, because curiosity can be flattering. It can also become a hook. Someone might ask about your life because they genuinely care. Someone else might ask because distance makes them uncomfortable. Those are not the same thing. Look for tone, look for pace, look for whether their curiosity respects your boundaries or pressures them. That difference matters. You may notice classic detective mode too. They scroll your socials. They keep tabs on who you are with. They check where you have been. Sometimes they even accidentally reveal it. An old photo gets liked. A story gets viewed a little too quickly. A random question appears at a strangely perfect time. We all know that pattern. And yes, sometimes it is funny. A little Sherlock energy without the badge. But underneath the humor, something real may be happening. They are trying to understand your world without them in it. They want to know whether you moved on, whether someone else now stands where they once stood, whether your life still has a space that remembers them. That kind of curiosity often grows when someone feels the distance more deeply than they expected. But here's the mature takeaway. Curiosity is not proof that you owe access. It is information. Nothing more. Use it to stay grounded. Do not use it to spiral. Do not confuse attention with love. Do not confuse questions with readiness, because people can be deeply curious and still not be prepared to show up well. That is why your standards matter. If someone becomes more curious about your life, you are allowed to answer on your terms. You are allowed to keep parts of your life private. You are allowed to share slowly. Privacy is not punishment. Privacy is self-respect with a lock on the door. And there is one more layer here. Curiosity often comes in waves. At first it feels light, then it becomes more frequent. And sometimes, if they feel locked out, that curiosity can flip into frustration. That does not mean you did something wrong. It may simply mean they are confronting a consequence they never prepared for. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to ask, is this essential? So when the questions grow, ask yourself what is essential for you. Maybe essential means honesty. Maybe it means a simple boundary. Maybe it means silence until their tone matches respect. Answer from strength, not from panic. Let their interest be data. Let your standards make the decision. That is how you stay clear. That is how you keep curiosity from turning into access they have not earned. Sign 4, they show signs of jealousy. The fourth sign is jealousy, and this one needs maturity. Because jealousy is easy to misread. It can point to longing. It can also point to ego, insecurity, fear of replacement, or unresolved attachment. So do not treat jealousy like proof of love. Treat it like information that something in them has been disturbed. Sometimes you are out living your life, posting something joyful, spending time with friends, trying new places, moving forward without making a performance of it. And then they react. A strange comment, an extra question, a tone that feels tighter than usual. Maybe they joke, "Oh, trying new places without me now," half playful, half not. That is often how jealousy enters. Not as a grand confession, as friction, as a signal that your life without them is affecting them more than they expected. And yes, that can happen when someone misses you, but missing you is not the only possibility. Sometimes jealousy means they do not like losing a sense of access. Sometimes it means they are uncomfortable seeing you happy without their involvement. Sometimes it means your absence exposed how much of their identity was tied to having a place in your world. That is why you need nuance here. Do not reward jealousy just because it looks intense. Intensity is not maturity. Disturbance is not devotion. And jealousy does not become romantic just because it feels powerful. Epictetus said it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That wisdom matters here, because their jealousy is their emotion. Your job is not to manage it for them. Your job is to notice it clearly and respond with dignity. If jealousy shows up as a passing human reaction, fine. People are human, but if it becomes passive aggression, control, suspicion, or pressure, That is no longer a soft sign of longing. That is a warning, and warnings should not be romanticized. So if you notice jealousy, stay calm. Notice the pattern. Notice whether it fades into honesty or hardens into control. That difference matters. A mature person might feel jealousy and still communicate cleanly. An immature person might turn jealousy into blame, sarcasm, or emotional punishment. Those are not the same thing. So yes, jealousy can sometimes reveal that your absence matters, but do not stop there. Ask the better question, what does this person do with the feeling? Because that answer will tell you far more than the jealousy itself. Sign 5. They make an effort to improve themselves. The 5th sign is self-improvement, and this one can be meaningful when it is real. Because when someone truly feels your absence, they may start reflecting on who they have been, what they missed, what they mishandled, what they could have done better. And sometimes that reflection does spark change. They begin exercising, reading, cleaning up habits, taking their health more seriously, learning how to communicate better, trying to become more disciplined, more grounded, more self-aware. That kind of movement can mean something, not because they are suddenly performing for you, but because pain sometimes forces reflection, and reflection sometimes opens the door to growth. Epictetus said no man is free who is not master of himself. And when someone starts missing you, they may realize that without self-mastery, they keep losing things they value. That realization can be powerful, but again, stay clear. Because not every glow-up is transformation. Sometimes it is sincerity. Sometimes it is branding. Sometimes it is a burst of motivation that disappears the moment it stops getting attention. So if someone starts improving themselves, do not judge too fast, but do not crown it too fast either. Watch the pattern. Real growth is usually uneven. It wobbles. It has boring days. It does not always photograph well. It is not always caption ready. You may see them suddenly posting workouts, books, journaling quotes, or a whole new lifestyle. And yes, sometimes that is sincere. Sometimes it is also a little funny. The person who could barely sit still last month is suddenly posting philosophy captions like they have been in a monastery for years. That happens. Smile if you want. But then, watch what matters more. Do they stay patient when they are not instantly rewarded? Do they stay humble when corrected? Do they keep changing when no one is clapping? That is the real test. Because missing you can spark motivation, but motivation still has to become habit. And habit is what protects both people later when the emotional high fades. Epictetus taught that simple pleasures, handled with discipline, build a stable life. That idea applies here too. If their self-improvement is real, it will move from performance to pattern, from image to character, from urgency to consistency. That is what you are looking for. So if someone starts trying harder, growing up, or cleaning up their life after your distance, notice it. Encourage what is real, but stay loyal to standards. You are allowed to appreciate progress without promising forever on day one. You are allowed to say, I see the effort. Now let time show me the truth. That is maturity. That is how you stay open without becoming naive. Sign 6. They drop subtle hints. The 6th sign is subtle hints. The breadcrumbs, the indirect signals, the little gestures that say something without fully saying it. This happens because direct words feel risky. Pride gets involved. Fear gets involved. Hope gets involved. So instead of saying, I miss you, they hint. A throwback photo. A lyric that feels a little too specific. A random like on an old post. A meme that carries more meaning than humor. A message that sounds casual but feels pointed. We have all seen this. It is someone trying not to say too much while still hoping you will notice. That can be tender. It can also be unclear. And that is why this sign needs a steady mind. Hints are often fear dressed as cleverness. They are a way to test the waters without stepping fully in. A way to ask, "Do I still have a place in your attention?" without risking a direct no. That is human. But it is also limited, because subtle hints may reveal longing, but they do not prove maturity. They are a beginning, not repair. They are a signal, not a solution. Epictetus would tell you to focus on what you control, and what you control is your clarity, your pace, your willingness to translate a hint into a conversation or leave it where it is. Ambiguity is not always cruel. Sometimes ambiguity protects you while you watch for consistency. If the hints show up once, fine. If they stack up over time, that becomes a pattern. And patterns matter more than isolated moments. You can notice the pattern without attacking them. You can name it without drama. You can say what you noticed. You can say what you need next, because a relationship cannot live forever on riddles. Sooner or later, someone has to speak clearly. Someone has to act cleanly. Someone has to match words with behavior. So enjoy the breadcrumbs if you want. Smile at the old photo, notice the lyric, catch the joke, but keep your eyes on the whole trail. Hints can be sweet. They are not enough to build something solid without honesty, repair, and follow-through. Sign 7. They appear more emotionally vulnerable. The 7th sign is emotional vulnerability. The person who used to be guarded suddenly opens up more. They text late at night. They send songs. They talk about what they have been replaying. They admit they have been thinking about you. They seem softer, more exposed, less defended. And yes, sometimes this does mean your absence has touched something real. Distance has a way of cracking open emotions people were avoiding when you were close enough to distract them. Marcus Aurelius said the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And when someone starts dwelling on memories, regret, or what they lost, those thoughts can surface as vulnerability. But again, do not romanticize too quickly, because vulnerability is not always the same thing as readiness. Sometimes it is honest emotion, sometimes it is loneliness, sometimes it is late-night softness with no real capacity to change anything. Sometimes it is an attempt to regain emotional access before trust has actually been rebuilt. That is why this sign needs care. Vulnerability can be beautiful, and it is still not a contract. You can honor someone's feelings without abandoning your boundaries. You can be kind without stepping back into an old dynamic that hurt you. So if someone opens up more, notice the emotion. But then ask the wiser question. Does their vulnerability come with accountability? Do they only tell you how much they feel, or do they also show how they plan to show up differently? Because emotional honesty without responsibility can still leave you carrying the weight. And that is not real repair. Sometimes the most guarded hearts do soften with distance. That part can be true. But softness alone does not rebuild trust. Truth does. Consistency does. Change does. So let vulnerability be information, maybe even meaningful information, but do not let it override your standards. Sign 8. They make plans to see you. The 8th sign is action. They make plans to see you, and this one matters because it moves beyond mood, beyond hints, beyond nostalgia, beyond late-night emotion. It becomes effort. A real invitation, a concrete plan, a time, a place, a willingness to leave the abstract and enter real life. That is important, because thinking about you costs very little. Sending a hint costs very little. Even opening up emotionally can still live in imagination. But making plans, that costs time, energy, scheduling, intention, and time is one of the clearest places where value becomes visible. Seneca wrote often about how carelessly people spend time. So when someone starts trying to schedule you in, notice it, not with fantasy, with clarity. Maybe the message says, "It has been too long, we should catch up." Maybe they suggest coffee, a walk, a dinner. Maybe they even show interest in something you care about now, not just something they used to enjoy with you before. That matters, because effort tells you more than atmosphere. But again, read the tone. A plan alone is not the whole story. Is it respectful? Is it flexible? Do they honor your calendar? Or do they act like urgency on their side should become priority on yours? That difference matters. You are not a slot to fill. You are a person to meet. If they want to see you, good. Now watch how they approach it. Do they rush you, guilt you, pressure you, or do they create space for a real yes, not just a pressured one? That is the part mature people notice. Because repeated effort to meet your world is a different language from casual politeness. It shows movement, it shows willingness, it shows they are trying to step toward reality. And if you choose to meet them, you do not need to abandon caution. You can choose a place that feels safe. You can choose a length that feels sane. You can keep your center. You can stay open without becoming unguarded. That is what clarity looks like. The plan is not the whole answer, but it is often one of the clearest signs that thought has started becoming action. You can choose daylight if night feels too charged. Making plans can be a beautiful sign of missing. It can also be a moment to practice clarity. If you are not ready for coffee, you can say so. If you want a phone call first, you can say that too. Plans are not proof that you owe intimacy. Plans are an opening, and you still decide the pace. If they keep trying after a calm no, that may show seriousness. If they rage, guilt you, or push harder, believe what that teaches you. Missing someone does not grant entitlement. It only reveals hunger. Your boundaries still stand, even when their hunger is real. Sign 9. They try to make you jealous. The 9th sign is provocation. They try to make you jealous. And this one needs real caution, because this is not a clean sign. It can mean they miss you. It can also mean ego, insecurity, emotional immaturity, or a need to regain attention without speaking honestly. So do not romanticize it. Read it carefully. Sometimes people feel your absence, do not know how to handle it, and reach for tactics instead of truth. They post louder, show more, hint more, perform more. Not because they found peace, because they want to know whether they still have the power to move you. That is the real question behind a lot of jealousy tactics. Are you still watching? Do I still matter to you? Can I still pull a reaction out of you? That does not make it healthy. It makes it revealing. Epictetus said it is not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. That wisdom belongs here, because if someone tries to provoke jealousy, their tactic is their character. Your response is yours. Maybe their feed gets louder. New people, new stories, a sudden parade of fine, happy, unbothered energy. Maybe they make sure you can see it. Maybe they drop just enough to stir comparison, but not enough to say anything clearly. That happens. And yes, sometimes the ache underneath it is real. Sometimes people do this because they miss you and do not know how to say it cleanly. But missing you does not excuse manipulation, and intensity does not equal maturity. So if this sign appears, stay calm. Do not treat it like romance. Treat it like data. Ask the better question. Can this person communicate directly? Can they be honest without creating pressure? Can they handle distance without turning it into emotional theater? Those answers matter more than the jealousy itself. Seneca warned against being dragged around by impulse. That applies here too. If their noise gets louder, do not let your mind get louder with it. Do not compete. Do not decode every post. Do not let comparison become your new habit. Pause. Return to your center. Remember what you are building. Remember that peace is not a performance for an audience. It is a practice you repeat in private. If they poke at you on purpose, you do not need to pretend you feel nothing. You can feel the sting and still choose discipline. You can notice the tactic and refuse the bait. Sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. Let them learn that your life does not revolve around their attempts to shake you. And if jealousy tactics become a pattern, that is not a love story. That is a warning. Sign 10. They express regret. The 10th sign is regret. And this one can be real. When someone truly feels your absence, they may begin to see the past more clearly. What they ignored, what they mishandled, what they damaged, what they assumed would always remain. And sometimes that recognition hurts enough to crack pride open. They may say, "I should have treated you better. I wish I had not been so distant. I did not realize what I was doing until you stepped back." Those words matter, not because words solve everything, but because regret can be the first moment someone stops defending their version of the story and starts facing reality. Epictetus said we are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them. Regret is often a new view, a clearer one. Your absence can force that clarity in a way your presence never could. And yes, that can be meaningful. But stay awake here too, because regret is a starting signal, not the whole contract. Sorry can be sincere. Sorry can also be reflex, a wave of pain, a moment of loneliness, a desire for relief. So if regret appears, listen carefully. Listen for specifics. Listen for ownership. Listen for whether they name the wound clearly or just speak in vague sadness. And more than that, watch what comes next. Do they respect your pace? Do they follow through? Do they stop making the same cut, then asking you to call it healing? That matters. Because apology without change can become another cycle. And you are not cruel for noticing that. You are awake. Missing you can make regret louder. It can also make someone want relief more than transformation. That is why you do not rush. You can acknowledge their pain without erasing your own. You can accept their remorse without pretending trust rebuilds overnight. That is not coldness. That is sanity with boundaries. So if regret appears, do not dismiss it, but do not surrender to it either. Let it open the door to observation, not fantasy. Let it show you what they feel. Then let time show you what they mean. Sign 11. They change their behavior. The 11th sign, and the most important one, is behavior change. Because this is where everything else gets tested. Texts matter. Nostalgia matters. Curiosity matters. Plans matter. Even regret matters. But behavior is where longing either becomes character or stays theater. This is the hardest sign to fake long-term. Anyone can post a quote once. Anyone can sound sorry for a weekend. Anyone can bring flowers one time. Real change shows up in repetition, in patience, in follow-through, in how they act when you are not instantly impressed. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one." That line belongs here. Because when someone truly feels your absence and truly understands what they lost, excuses tend to shrink and action begins to matter more. You may notice it in small ways first. More consistency, more consideration, better listening, less defensiveness, a habit dropped, a pattern interrupted, a new steadiness where chaos used to live. That kind of change is meaningful, not because it guarantees reunion, because it reveals that something deeper than emotion is happening. They are not only feeling differently, they are living differently. And that is what you watch. Not charm, not timing, not intensity. Pattern. Watch what they do when they are tired. Watch what they do when you say no. Watch what they do when repair gets inconvenient. Watch what they do when nobody is clapping. That is where character shows itself. Because real change does not only show up when the mood is high, it stays when it is boring, when it is slow, when it costs something. And if you see that kind of effort, you can honor it without abandoning discernment. You can say, "I see the change." Now let consistency speak for itself. That is maturity. You do not need to punish growth. You also do not need to reward it too early. You can stay open without becoming naive. You can see progress and still ask for safety. You can hope and still require proof. Hope is not denial. Hope is a direction you hold while your feet stay planted in truth. Take a breath here. 11 signs is a lot, because human longing has many faces. Some people show all 11, some show 3, but deeply. The point is not to score someone like an exam. The point is to see clearly, to stop confusing anxiety with love, to stop confusing noise with care, to stop confusing silence with nothing. What matters most is not whether someone misses you. What matters most is what their missing produces. Manipulation, nostalgia, effort, honesty, change. That is the real reading. And when you feel torn between hope and doubt, return to the simplest Stoic question: what is in my power right now? You cannot control their heart. You can control your honesty. You cannot control their timing. You can control your boundaries. You cannot force understanding. You can choose calm speech, clear standards, and actions that match your values. That is how absence stays strategic instead of becoming self-abandonment. That is how distance becomes clarity instead of a game. That is how you love wisely, walk away cleanly, or rebuild with boundaries that actually hold. So remember this: absence is not a trick. It is a test. It reveals what remains when easy access disappears. If they miss you, clarity will reveal it. If they only miss access, clarity will reveal that too. Your job is not to be unforgettable. Your job is to be unbetrayable to yourself. If this video helped you see these patterns more clearly, subscribe to Stoic Ocean. And in the comments, leave one phrase: clarity over craving. That is the commitment, not to being chased, to seeing cleanly, to choosing wisely, to staying rooted in your own value. Until next time, stay calm, stay clear, and remember, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is step back and let truth speak in the silence.